Hi, I'm so happy to see you here. My name is Daria and I'm a personal branding coach, and I help service providers, business owners, and entrepreneurs build their personal brand on Instagram to attract more clients, more students, and get more sales. In the previous video, we talked about how to find your niche on Instagram. If you haven't already, make sure that you go and watch it. And once we figure out more or less what our niche is, the very natural questions that's going to come up is, how do I post consistently? And listen, that's the questions that's going to come up for you over and over already. It doesn't matter if you are just starting your Instagram journey or if you have been posting actively and consistently for the past 6 months, year, or 5 years. You're still going to have breaks, and you're still going to have times when you are not as active or not as consistent on Instagram, and you're going to be trying to find ways to go back to the routine. So that's progress. That's completely normal. It's not like once you have this figured out, you're going to just ride the wave and you're going to be good. It's going to come and go. And sometimes consistency will look very, very different for you. And that's completely fine. And when we start thinking about how you post consistently on Instagram, it's obviously, it gets overwhelming. There are so many channels that you want to worry about. There are Instagram stories, there are reels, there are regular posts, and then there are carousel, then there is like IG lives, and then there are other channels that you want to focus on. Maybe you want to do your YouTube video, maybe you want to do a Pinterest post, maybe you want to do TikTok, Twitter, or X, or so many stuff that you need to worry about when you're building your personal brand. So it's completely natural and it's completely okay to be overwhelmed and feel like you are just drowning in that amount of content that you need to produce. The very first thing that I need you to understand is that consistency will look very different for everyone. What is consistent for you might not be consistent for me, and what consistent for me might not be as consistent for you. And that's completely fine. Instead of setting up a goal of, I want to be consistent on Instagram, I want you to set up a goal of, how many times actually do you want to show up on social media? What it is actually is going to look like numbers wise. Because I want to be more consistent on Instagram is very abstract, and it's not really something that you can count. It's not really something that you can justify. And if, for example, you set out this goal for 2024 for yourself to be consistent on Instagram, when you will look back January 1st, 2025, and you will review your performance on social media, the goal of, I want to be consistent on Instagram, is not really something that you can be like, well, yeah, I've done that 100% yes. For example, instead of focusing on, I want to be consistent on Instagram, focus on, I want to post 3 reels a week. Now, 3 reels a week, that's completely justifiable. That's completely something you can easily count on, and once a year passes, you can review your performance and be like, yeah, I've posted on average 3 reels every single week. And now it's gonna help you feel like, yes, you achieved this goal. It's gonna feel so good. For me personally, I post around 7 reels on Instagram every single week. I post around 3 to 5 stories, story sets. And one story set for me is somewhere around 10 to 15 frames every single time. And I post, again, 3 to 5 story sets a week. I post 2 to 3 times on Pinterest. I post 3 to 4 times on TikTok. And now my new goal, because I'm exploring YouTube platform for myself, my new goal is to create 1 YouTube video a week, every single week. If it seems like a lot of posting, and like, come on, let's be fair, that is quite a lot for a lot of people. This is my business. This is the only thing that I do. I don't have a 9 to 5. I don't have client work anymore. My job right now and my primary business is to post content and work on my coaching business. So for me, this is work. This is my 9 to 5. I don't have kids. I have a cleaning lady that comes and helps me around the house every single week. I order my groceries. I built my life around the fact that this is my full-time job, this is my full-time gig, and I really need to go in all the way. So I removed all the potential distractions, everything that needs lots of attention for me, so I can focus on producing content every single week and realistically every single day. So this is what consistency looks like for me. Your consistency doesn't necessarily have to look this way. It can look like something else. Your consistency can look like posting 2 reels a week. Your consistency can look like posting 1 YouTube video a month. Whatever it is that's gonna work for you, it's gonna work for you. That's completely fine, and I love it. Because I would rather you post 1 reel every single week but you're gonna do it week after week, rather than you post 10 reels in a week and then you're gonna get overwhelmed and burn out and not post anything for the next 6 months. That is not consistent. You posting 1 reel every single week, now that's consistent. So again, let's focus on small and achievable and tangible steps instead of getting overwhelmed and so excited, but feeling like it's a lot of work that you need to do and focusing on this like giant things. Let's just focus on 1 small thing at a time. So if you're not sure where to start on your social media journey, and if you're just starting out and you feel so lost and everybody's telling you when you go on Instagram that you need to post 3 times every single day, let's just focus on posting 1 reel, just 1 reel every single week. Personally, for myself, when I just started taking Instagram seriously and when I just started my consulting business in spring of 2022, I had a 9-to-5 job. I absolutely loved it, but 8 to 4, I was at that job every single day. And I couldn't really take a break and start creating content for 5 hours a day. That just wasn't something that was super realistic to me. Instead of posting 7 times a week, and I saw so many coaches, so many people that would tell me that I need to post every single day. For myself, I realized that posting every single day was absolutely unsustainable for me. So I decided to post 3 reels every single week. So for March, April, May, and June of 2022, I just focused on posting 3 reels every single week. That's it. And I also had a goal of doing 2 story sets a week. I really wanted to do more, but every time I would go on stories, it would take me like hours and hours and hours. And storytelling skill wasn't really something that I was very comfortable with at the moment. So it took me a lot of mental energy and lots of mental resources to come up with content really liked. So I just decided to do the minimum. I just decided to do something that I knew I could produce with the amount of time that I had, with the amount of energy that I had, and just do something, just start doing something. So for me, again, it was 3 reels a week and 2 story sets a week. That's it. I didn't do TikTok. I obviously didn't do YouTube. I didn't do Pinterest. I didn't do anything. I just focused on Instagram with as much time and energy and resources that I have available. And for me, that goal was realistic. This was really something that I could achieve. Obviously, it would be like super nice if I could do like 50 reels a day and, like really figure out sooner. But I knew that wasn't achievable for me back then. Back then, I was one of those people who would post 1 reel a month and I would call it a day. And the biggest difference between Daria then in spring of 2022 and Daria now in spring 2024 is that today's Daria, for her, posting content on any social media channel is a habit, 100%. For me, it's not natural when I don't post anything. For me to talk to the camera, it's more or less natural right now. For me to post stories, to post reels, to do content, that's natural for me right now. In spring of 2022, that shit wasn't natural for me. It always felt so weird. It always felt so cringy. It always felt like I had to like push myself outside of my body in order to make that stuff work. And it was just so freaking weird. And it took so much energy and so much mental resources for me to write captions, to find audio, to find reels, and coming up with like reels ideas was so hard. 100%. And I've always felt like I was just copying people instead of producing my own stuff that I would really like. Or I had this like incredible real ideas that I have in mind. And I was like, this, I really want to post. This is really going to go great. But then when I start executing and when I start working on the content, it's not going to turn, it never almost turned out just as great as I saw it. And I remember that it's like every single time I post a reel and I would push myself to be consistent, it felt so cringy. It felt so weird. It just felt so off. And I would post a reel and then I would close the Instagram app and like not look at it for the next few hours. Or I would post a reel and I would have so many expectations on how it should turn out. And I would get so upset when it like got 7 likes and 7 video views. And what's interesting for me now, I just started my YouTube channel, right? So this is like second videos that I'm posting now ever on my YouTube channel. And before, this like long format content videos were only accessible for my students with whom I worked in like a group of one-on-one capacity. But right now I do this for the public, for the people. And it's just so interesting how the same habits are coming up, where for me, recording YouTube videos is not natural for me. I used to work with short form content, and for me to be recording 10, 15, 20 minutes videos is so hard. And again, I need to write a script. I need to work on like so many stuff. I need to write bullet points that on the stuff that I want to touch on, or if I had like something that I would really want to address, I'll make sure that I include it here. But again, it doesn't really feel natural to me right now because it's simply not a habit yet. It's my second video. I cannot expect myself to have this habit figured out right now. I'm sure when it will be my 55th video or like 1000th video, that will be really easy for me. But right now, because it's my second video, it still feels off. And I'm in London right now with my husband for a vacation. I kicked him out so he could go to the gym while I'm recording these videos, because for the life of me, I cannot have him while I'm recording this. And I spent so much time finding what is the angles that should be. I was just at the office and I was trying to find the angles that I really liked. I didn't like any, so I just came back here at the dining area. I was like, fuck it, I'm just going to record it here. And I spent so much time finding these angles that I really, really like. And I didn't like anything. And right now, I'm not really sure if my audio is working. So that's going to be a very fun surprise when I'm going to see that it doesn't. And so what I'm trying to say is I'm building this habit of posting consistently my YouTube videos, right? Absolutely the same experience. Well, when it feels weird, it feels cringy, it feels off, you do it and you're like, well, it's not really the level that I would want it to be. It's not really the level of people whose videos I watch on YouTube and who have like millions and millions of subscribers and all of this stuff. And I would compare myself to them. But then I would always have to remind myself that it's very, very unfair when I'm comparing my second YouTube video or my first YouTube video to theirs 100s. Whereas they have a professional production company and I'm literally just recording this on my iPhone and a $20 microphone, right? So be realistic with your expectations and be realistic with the process. And honestly, like just trust the process, because if it feels weird right now, that's fine. And don't try to compare yourself with people who've been doing it on such a consistent basis where you are comparing your level 2 to their level 1002. And it's just the gap is so big that you're removing the joy from the process. And I'm probably telling it more for myself rather than you. So again, it basically comes down to building a habit. A very good example here would be when you first go to the gym or like you do like a yoga class or anything like that. I remember when I just started going to spin class, I honestly absolutely hated it. Like the very first like 5 to 10 times that I went, I didn't have fun. I like obviously felt absolutely amazing afterwards, but during the class, I would always think to myself, Daria, why on earth did you come here? Like, why do you hate yourself so much to keep coming here? Like, this is so freaking hard. But I started having fun and I started absolutely loving it. And now I go 4 times every single week, and I'm looking to add another extra round during the weekend because I just absolutely love it. But if I would make myself to go 5 times when I just started out back last summer, I would probably quit like on a week 2 because I absolutely didn't enjoy it. So it's all about trusting the process, building the habit, building this like routine for yourself where you go and you do it week after week, and being consistent, but being progressively consistent, where the first month, for example, I went there once a week, and then on the next months I went twice a week, then I went 3 times a week, and then for like 2 to 3 months I was going there for like 4 times a week. Now I absolutely love it. I cannot see my routine without going to a spin class because it's just like, it brings me so much joy. The same process happens with my social media, the same process happening with me posting reels, where the first time I would post two times a week and it would be super hard. Now I post 7 times a week and it brings me so much fun, so much joy, and I absolutely love the process. So we figure out that posting on Instagram consistently is just a habit. It's just a routine that you're doing very similarly to any habit that you already have in your routine. But when we are just building a habit, we need to ensure that we can prioritize it, that we actually build out the environment and the place where that habit can take a place and where you make it as easy for yourself as possible. The very first thing that I would really love for you to do is, when you have your to-do list for the day, ensure that you edit a reel or find 5 reels references or write a caption for my next reel. Anything that would be like a very small 20 to 30 minute task, but something that you can do on a daily basis that you can incorporate into your routine. For me, on my to-do list every single day, I have post a reel, or I have edit a reel, or I have record a talking video or record a YouTube video, anything like that. That is a part of my routine and it's a part of my to-do list. And I'm one of those people that if I have it on my to-do list, it's unmovable, it's unchangeable, I need to get it done. The next thing that I want you to do is ensure that you have kind of like a reels or content ideas bank that is as accessible as possible for yourself. For example, I write down all of my content ideas in my notes app on my phone that I can also very easily access here on my laptop, because I can have my idea when I'm showering, when I'm going for a walk, when I'm right after the spin class. So if I had like a journal where I would need to write it down every single time, that wouldn't be accessible to me because I'm not gonna carry my freaking journal everywhere I go. It doesn't have to be a notes app. If there is something else that works for you, great, let's do it. I know some people who message the idea to themselves, which is like also perfectly fine. So just make sure that you have some kind of like a bank of ideas always available. So when it's time for you to record content, to do some video, to do some stories, some reels, you already have like this foundation of ideas that are always ready to go. And the question of, oh, I don't know what I should post about, anything like that, it's not gonna even come up because, well, you already have so much stuff that you can talk about or you can post about as well. And then a final step into consistent posting on Instagram, really, again, make sure that you come up with some kind of realistic schedule and then you're gonna stick to it. Like, for example, you're gonna commit to posting your reels twice a week, and you decide that you're gonna be posting on Tuesday and Thursday, and then make sure that on Monday maybe you're gonna record a reel that you're gonna post on Tuesday, and then maybe on Wednesday you're gonna prepare a reel for you to go on Thursday, or maybe you're gonna decide that on Friday, so you're gonna dedicate 2 to 3 hours every single week for you to batch create your content, where you're gonna record 1, maybe 2, or maybe a couple more talking videos and to post them as a reel, and then you're gonna just edit a couple of more videos for you to go next in the following week. Whatever it is, make sure that you experiment with different formats. I went from recording and like batch creating my content for months in advance to editing and creating videos weekly and sometimes like even on a daily basis, depending on how much stuff that I have available. So just make sure that you're going to experiment with different routines, but that it's going to be realistic to you. If you have a 9 to 5 and you're like, I will create 7 videos on Friday and then it ends up taking 12 hours of your day, well, that's absolutely unrealistic. And that's not something that you will do next week because it took so much of your time. So just break it down into small tasks throughout the week and just make sure that those tasks are tangible and realistic and something that you can actually execute on. And that's pretty much it. Again, commit to a realistic posting schedule. Accept that the very first couple of videos, couple of reels are gonna suck, and that's completely fine. Don't compare your level number 2 to somebody else's level 100 because that's unrealistic. And just make sure that you're gonna have fun with the process because the process is fun. Once you will push through this like weirdness, through this like cringy time, there is so much joy to be had here. And also make sure that you write down all of the ideas that come up to you and have that list very easily accessible to you whenever, because you never know when your next brilliant idea is gonna find you. I really hope this video was helpful to you. Make sure that you like it. Make sure to subscribe to this YouTube channel. I would really appreciate it. And I appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you so much. I'll see you in the next video.